Hello, everybody. Welcome to the XP Billionaires podcast. We're back for another one. I don't know how, but we are. So, I'm thankful for it.
Why would we not be?
We're on to episode 84. We've gotten so far after all this time. It just like, how do we still have stuff to talk about?
It's a lot of episodes.
It is.
I told you we'd never run out of stuff to say.
Well, you were definitely right. So I'm glad. All right. So as you can hear, you've got Rafe, you've got Sky, we've got Mel, as we usually do. So let's say hello to everybody. Sky, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. Very amused by my neighbor's dog who's howling. Oh!
Yep, that's a fairly loud dog, I will admit.
Yes. I don't know. What am I doing right now? Oh, I've gone back to playing Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark. And I had to turn down the difficulty a smidge, because, yeah, it's kind of hard. But it's a really cool game, and people should try it. Even if you got to play on, like, the beginner setting.
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you're enjoying yourself, you play it on whatever setting works best. That we've been very, very clear about that in many of our episodes. So
this is true.
Yeah. Now, before I move on, you've been really, really excited this past week, haven't you?
Oh yes. Oh yes, I have been.
Yes, for those who've been living under a rock, why don't you share the wonderful news?
Okay. So, I thought the week couldn't get better with the announcement of SMT Nocturne remaster and SMT 5 trailer and the announcement of Atelier Rise 2, and I was so wrong. It got so much better. A game called Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes has been announced. And it is a project by Yoshitaka Murayama, who created Suikoden. And it's not only his project, he has brought in a whole bunch of people, including people he worked with on Suikoden, like Junko Kiwano, and a whole bunch of sort of industry vets. And by the time this goes out, the Kickstarter will be live. So please support it. We need to throw money at this man so he can continue to make wonderful games. Please, please, please. I'm so excited.
Yeah, what you failed to mention there is that the game that's coming out has also been considered the spiritual successor to the Suikoden series, which makes it even way better.
Are you like a fan of Suikoden?
No.
Like, you like that game series?
Huh. A little.
Huh.
I am over the moon.
It's been a good few months for like new games coming out. Like, there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, and this week it just got all dumped in my lap. All these announcements about stuff I love, and I'm so excited. Now, Eiyuden Chronicle, like, it's a long way off. Like, they're projecting 2 years, I believe, timeline for release. Okay. So, yeah, it's a ways out. But you know what? I'm encouraged because that's much more realistic than a lot of timelines for video game Kickstarters. And again, I don't know any of the Kickstarter details because as of time of recording, it has not gone live yet. But it's going to be incredible. This is a huge deal, and every Suikoden fan is currently losing their minds. So, play Suikoden in the meantime and back this game.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be sharing that link on Twitter, and I'll make sure to do so as well. So we'll be keeping the advertising going on this one. So just watch for it.
And follow him on Twitter. Murayama is he's a sweetheart. He seems like such a nice guy. So I really recommend you follow him on Twitter. He's been answering questions from the fans. He's seems to be really big into fan engagement. So yeah, it's just perfect.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to. All right, Mel, can you top that? I'm curious. How are you doing?
I no, I probably can't. Maybe there'll be another Mass Effect one day. I don't know. That's just a dream. I'm doing all right though. It's been a pretty busy work week, but I am looking forward to tonight. I'm planning to play through Sayonara Wild Hearts. I've played levels here and there, but I really like the style of it. It's one of those games that like I'm not necessarily a great, I'm gonna say rhythm-based person. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm gonna put some time in and enjoy it because the music is just like phenomenal.
No, that's cool. I've heard the name, but I'm not. I don't. I can't place the game in my head.
Yeah, it's not an RPG, but I'll give you kind of a little pitch of it for those of you who might be interested. So it's got a very cool like cyberpunk kind of aesthetic, and it's sort of like a game where you race around on motorcycles and you dance battle and shoot lasers, and like the game just keeps shifting in this weird perspective because it's all kind of a metaphor, and it's this very visually beautiful game where everything's kind of like bright pinks and purples and blues, and it's very stylish. So yeah, I mean, check out a trailer for it and very least listen to some of the music because it's just phenomenal music.
Well, for a rhythm game, I could only hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, awesome. I mean, like as for me, I mean, I got super excited about the Shin Megami Tensei news this week. I was watching that just as it launched, and Sky unfortunately had to go away that morning and missed the whole thing. So all they had to look at were my texts at first that they didn't even look at for like over an hour. But oh man, my mind was blown seeing the Nocturne remake or remaster. Um, Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming. Like, oh, so happy.
Yeah, and he completely missed the fact from the trailer that it's not going to be the Nocturne remaster isn't a remaster of the version of the game we originally got. It's of the last version of the game, which had Raido Kuzunoha instead of Dante from Devil May Cry as the guest character.
Yeah, so that's going to actually feel a lot more SMT, which I'm really looking forward to trying out. But I kind of want to see how that's going to translate with the with all the interaction you have with or had with Dante during the Labyrinth of Amala. So I wonder if it'll make it easier because Raido's only got one gun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It would be interesting to see that particular section of the Labyrinth of Amala was painful.
Yeah, yeah. Beyond that, I mean, I'm now consoling myself with all this wait time by playing Ghost of Tsushima, and like most other people are doing right now. And it's with good reason. It's a fantastic game. It basically is Horizon, but with samurai and not robot dinosaurs. But the whole exploration, the world building, the storyline, the story could be a little bit better, but I mean, it's still a really solid story, so I'm quite pleased with it. I haven't gotten too far into the main story yet, but I've just been spending too much time running around and doing other quests and killing Mongols. Like it's been great.
I know within my social group we're kind of enjoying the fact that like I teach archery classes, and the style of archery that Ghost of Tsushima uses is actually the same kind that I use, which is really interesting. Just a Chinese form of archery, so I'm really looking forward to playing it to be like, oh, I can actually do that in real life.
Oh yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah, yeah. And what I will also credit for, and I haven't played around with it too much, is the photo mode for the game. Like all the photos people are putting out online are beautiful. And that photo mode, it's so easy to use, and there's just so many filters and options. You can change the weather in the area you're looking at just because you want it to be a different weather or time of day or whatever, and it'll just revert all back once you go back to the game.
Yeah, it certainly looks like an absolutely stunning game.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
visually.
All right. Well, we've ranted on enough about all our hopes and dreams and our future prospects. Let's get into our actual topic this week, shall we?
Oh, I guess.
I know, I know, I know. I feel like it's going to be less exciting than what we were just talking about, but we'll still make it fun. Don't worry. Don't worry. It'll be fine. All right, let's get on with it. So, one of the main ways to make an RPG experience truly your own is with character customization. Whether it's building your stats the way you like it or tailoring your character's outfit, there's no better feeling than when your party is truly your party. So, this week I wanted to just kind of have a chat about customization in a more general sense. I know we've talked about it in some ways in other episodes, but really just want to broadly kind of have a chat about it overall this week. So I guess we'll just kind of start off. Like, what are some of your regular preferences when you're doing that kind of customizing? Now, this can be stats and or cosmetic, however you best feel. Sky, why don't we start with you this week?
Well, I usually increase stats over everything else. Like stats over abilities, looks, whatever. I also, though, look for powerful combos, say, combining different types of equipment or magical items or whatever to just make my characters as broken as possible. If it's a game where you control only one character, like most action RPGs, I will usually go for a mage. I like to keep my distance because my reflexes aren't great, and I have trouble visually keeping up with fast-paced action. It just becomes a blur to me at a certain point. Though sometimes I will go into another role if I find it's poorly managed by party AI. Sometimes, for example, a healer. Like some games it's you just look at the situation and go like, no. I need to be the healer here because my party members are incompetent. But yeah, usually stats and magic. It's how I do things.
No, I like that. One of the things I think you should really try at some point, and I regret that we don't have it now, is Final Fantasy 12, even the remaster, just because of the gambit system. Like you mentioned that the party AI can be really terrible at times. The programmability of the AIs in that game is so good, you would never have an issue with your healers, not one.
Well, that's useful. Um, I do like it when they give you those options to
Yeah.
customize how your party AI works. Um, because sometimes it can just get so janky.
Oh yeah, like this one, like you have to buy all of the gambit rules, but it's really, really amazing what you can do there. Like you can just set it, okay, when any character's health is X% or less, throw a potion, or specifically that item. Or like they won't just do anything willy-nilly. You're telling them exactly what item to use in those situations. If
Yeah,
someone's suffering poison, do this. If someone's suffering paralysis, use this, etc.
yeah, and I really like you can set rules too, like use the lowest value item, or in this situation use this specific high value item, or like it takes a bit more work, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good.
Once you built that with your party, oh man, it's amazing. It's so good with that. So that's a recommendation if you ever want. Like we can get it again at some point. Totally fine with that. But yeah, if you want to see how it's done right, that game does it right.
Cool. Maybe I'd actually get through another Final Fantasy main title. To this day, people, Final Fantasy VI is the only main game I've cleared. All the rest, something stopped me.
Well, so be it. All right, Mel, how do you like to customize your characters?
I feel like I'm sort of the polar opposite. So, one thing that I do early on in games is I will save up my bonuses from leveling up until I know what I need to be able to enjoy the game. So, if I find I'm dying a lot because I have too low health, I will add to my health. If I'm finding that I don't have enough magic like stamina, then I'll do that. If I'm doing a lot of aerial kills, I'll be like, well, maybe I'll look into something that would help me with that. But I really kind of wait for the game to tell me what area I'm going to need some support in. In general, I tend to play melee characters. Sometimes I'll do a melee magic hybrid class, but I almost always want to be in the fray of the action. Like, there are a few games where I sort of differ a little bit. I'm going to use Dragon Age Inquisition as an example. So in that game, I picked a Battle Master, which is still a melee fighter, but it has a ton of buffing abilities. And with the plot of Dragon Age Inquisition, with you kind of being the person who gathers these people together and gives them a quest to go on and a mission and a vision, and you become kind of the religious leader of their order. The fact that I eventually became a horn blower, which literally I see enemies, I blow the horn to signal battle fighting and buff everybody. Like, it felt so in character. So I really, really loved that. Like I said, I'm mostly doing melee, so I'm usually going to favor kind of doing a lot of damage, hitting hard, and being able to sustain some good damage as well. I like feeling like I can just sit on any problem if I need to solve it. Just like crush the life out of it.
No, I completely hear you there.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I will. The very rare occasion I do melee is very heavy melee. Like,
right where everyone else is like across the battlefield, and you're like, "Here I come!"
Yeah, just
I'll see you in a minute and a half.
I actually, when I played Neverwinter on PS4, I actually played a paladin because I was just like, I want to solo and I want to heal myself. Paladin.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but like I just like I as much as possible, like I do like taking special abilities and things like that. I'll also often take special abilities that will let me like gather resources more efficiently, just so I can focus on the main game and not necessarily, grabbing every red bush I see. So in general, like I'm trying to make it less annoying. So whatever part of the game I find annoying, I'm probably going to try to solve it.
Okay, so streamlining whatever is an irritance.
Yeah. So if I'm like even in Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm like, oh my god, I had to spend so much time getting those little trees so I can make arrows. And I was just like, forget it. I'm just taking this thing that doubles the amount of resources you get because I'm tired of walking around branches, like trying to pick up branches all day.
Yeah, and like I completely agree with you on the desire for killing. I mean, I say that only in video games, not in real life, just for the record. But like when it comes to stat building, that's what I want to do. That is my purpose when I'm gaming. If my party members want to join in, that is totally on them. But if I have control over their roles, I will build them for support. They can either heal me, buff me, they can debuff the enemies, do not care. But yeah, I got to be the one making as many kills as possible. Now, that being said, cosmetically, I like to find a balance of, somewhat lightly armored, but there needs to be like a cool outfit that's still visible while you're wearing it. Something like a trench coat or duster or some stylish outfit that's designed for the game to make myself stand out from your typical hero. Like I'm not a fan of full plate armored looks. Been there, done that. I want to do something different at this point. So if there's a way to have all that, all the defense, but not look like it, like I'm all in for that.
Seems we all have very different styles when it comes to this, eh?
Oh, that's great. I like having the varied opinions.
Yeah, did we get a well-rounded party? Is that what we did?
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
well, we got two murderers, so we've got a DPS. You go with the heavy armor, that makes you the tank, and you'll be the back row support. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we got something. I
Yeah,
mean, we could
yeah.
use maybe one more for the back row, but we'll I think we'd be all right for a little while.
Yeah, we could use another mage, but you know, there's time. There's time.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So when a game offers a cosmetic set of customization unlocks, how likely are you guys to try to unlock everything?
Well, in my case, it depends on how much I like the options and the game in general. Most of the time, I won't bother. I'll just default to a specific look I like and stick with it. I'm not one for changing out my look all the time, typically. The only time in which I would is if I just like all the options that much, but that's unusual.
No, that makes total sense. It will always depend on how much they've put in there and how complex it is, I think. Then there's something about that. If it's just a one item thing, but if you can customize your headgear, your chest, your pants, your shoes, like when it gets that intricate, it's really hard because you could try to find some really good combos.
And it depends how much different pieces of different sets of clothing or accessories, how much they go with each other or not. Like if they're all sets of very distinctive looks, you're not likely going to mix and match as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I will say there are some games where you can equip like a fashion slot and then a stat slot. That can be kind of fun, where you're just like, yeah, this is my look, and then you can just swap out armor without being, like, oh, I hate the way I look.
Yeah, that's one of the things they added to Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and it was really nice because like that game has beautiful armors, but when I played the original version, they didn't have the option for the cosmetic only looks. So sometimes my characters looked really strange to get the best stats.
I mean, sometimes that's fun in and of itself, but yeah, I mean, there's a certain sense of style you want to go for.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Mel, what about you?
Um, I'm likely to find kind of a style that appeals to me and stick with it. So maybe I'll be like, oh, well, I really like all the armor that has elements of blue, or I really like all the armor that is like the heaviest set with each elemental style. So like I'll pick some things that I like, but I'm not gonna look for everything. Like there's gonna be some outfits that I think are dumb, and I'm just avoiding those in general. I get pretty annoyed by gendered armor when like there's a set of armor for a guy that looks amazing and then I put it on my character and it's a dress. So that's another kind of element that I often use to decide. And then just as I was thinking about this question in general, like cosmetic customization, one game I will say where I bought pretty much every piece of equipment I could is Disco Elysium, because my God, Harry just has terrible taste in clothes, and I just want to make him look somewhat presentable, and it's not working.
No, I think it's literally impossible.
Oh, that poor man. It's just like,
he's
whoa.
he's a disaster, particularly um it's a little better if you shave him at one point.
Yeah,
Get
see, I
those
never
off.
I never shaved him, but I looked in the mirror on day one and I regretted it. And everything after that was just a nightmare.
Yeah, I shaved him like when you move out to the free little cabin in the village. you get the option to shave off his awful facial hair then, and I did it. I was just like, well, you still look like a disaster human, but it is marginally better. I will take it.
Sometimes that's all you can get. I will give that game benefit. Like, I'll give it credit for really taking that, like, I want to be cool in this game and making me feel like the exact opposite. I cried all the time in my terrible, terrible pants.
Yes. I mean, Harry is Hobocop. That's what he is. Down to his core, he is Hobocop. And trying to make him look like anything else is virtually impossible.
What have I been missing? Okay, yeah, I need to play this.
Yeah. I keep telling you.
See, I wasn't a superstar cop, or I was a superstar cop, not a hobo cop, and I fluctuated between thinking I was the coolest thing ever to crying in corners, and yeah, just did not get any kind of good clothes to wear for a very long time.
Yeah, it takes a while before you get anything that looks remotely presentable.
And then Kim has the audacity to always look great. Ugh. Anyways.
All right, yeah, we should probably get back on to the topic. I don't know, but no, I agree with you, with you both. Really, like, I'm not gonna go after every little thing. To be perfectly honest, if there's a lot of cosmetic options, odds are I'm gonna try to look them up online first and go after only the ones I really, really want for the ideal look for my character. Like, I would rather get it, right away, as soon as possible. That way I can spend as much time in game looking awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean we spend time in a fantasy world for a reason, right?
Yep, I need to look better than I do in real life.
I'm not rising to the bait.
All right, fair enough. We'll just move on then. Okay. All right. So yeah, last real question. Like, I think we've kind of touched on it already for the most part, but like, how often would you guys make changes to your character's looks?
Yeah, not often at all. It's rare for me to have a lot of options that I really like because I tend towards more androgynous looks. Like if I'm creating my own character, if it's supposed to be a self-insert, then I'm just like, well, I go fairly androgynous. And in a lot of games, that's really hard to do. Um, it's very disappointing.
It is. We're still seeing a lot of character creation just at the creation point specifically, where everything is still fairly gendered. And it's really unfortunate, especially when you're kind of looking for something more androgynous or neutral, because you have to start somewhere, and maybe eventually you'll be able to pick it up down the road, but you're still not where you want to be right at the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it won't stop me from playing a game, but it's just like I wouldn't mind not having that moment of disappointment right at the very beginning. Like it's just like, oh, really?
No, I completely agree. I mean, gaming is for everybody, and developers need to know what everybody means again. So, at least what it means now.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Mel, what about you? Any desires to change on a regular basis?
So I usually wait until some big dramatic moment in the plot has happened before I do this. I'm going to use an example of Fallout 4, which I really enjoyed. There's a big twist near the end, This is where your son has gone missing and you're hunting down to try to find him. I spent the whole beginning of the game just trying to rebuild that life. I never took off my wedding ring. I went back to the old house that I lived in and fixed it up. I got every single toy I could imagine that my son might like anything. Like, I'm like, is he a science kid? Is he what's his thing? And I got everything I could. And when the big plot happens, I went back, talked to my husband, like, never went back, threw my ring in a lake, wrecked my house to shit. And then I changed my outfit completely, like, went from wearing kind of like more light armor to just being like a total destruction kind of person, cut my hair. Like, for me, I use the option to change what I look like as like a reminder to me that like this character is not who they were. They've changed in some drastic way, and I want to remember that. Even just on a simple level, I often like will go back to a hairdresser and just let your hair get incrementally shorter or longer or shorter, I guess, throughout the game, just to show that like as time is passing, subtle things are changing about who I am. So yeah, for me, it's usually like an addition to like the role playing dynamic.
That's really cool. It's never occurred to me to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, just get way too deep into the story.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool, and I mean that's a very cool way to immerse yourself in a character. I dig it.
Yeah, no, that is pretty awesome. I mean, I will say that when it came to Fallout 4, when that revelation happened, yeah, I kind of went with it.
Like, I knew what I was gonna do, and I was like, well, I guess I can't ever look at my husband again.
Yeah. I actually I don't remember meeting the husband.
Oh,
he's
still a frozen popsicle. He's just popsicle man.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, because no, I sided with that faction, so
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was my ending.
Yeah, I just like periodically through the beginning of the game, I would go back to the vault, to the beginning, go all the way back to the first area to go back to where it started, and then head back out, go back into the world.
Well, thank God for fast travel, huh?
Well, no, it's like a pilgrimage. You can't fast travel, right? You gotta take the slow journey and live with your decisions.
Oh, yeah, no.
You can usually tell how engaged I am in a game by how much I use the fast travel mechanic. If I really love a game, I almost never use it.
That's impressive. I will say that.
And it's only when they get to the end of the game, you're like, okay, go here, and then go here, and then go here. And I'm like, come on, stop making me run across the world for no reason. But broadly speaking, like, I want the experience of, like, walking around the roads at night.
I can understand that. I've done that from time to time when I've just been enjoying the journey so much that I want to see it. I want to look around the environments, even if I have been through before, because sometimes there's stuff I've missed, or I just want to embed it in my memory, and yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, no, awesome. I mean, for me, like the only time I really want to change my outfits is when there's an advantage to do so. And even then, it's honestly rare. Like, I know there was a lot of that in Horizon, and I didn't bother changing my gear all that much unless I absolutely had to. Like, I know you had to change it when you were going into the enemy territory. I can't remember, but like those are really the only times I would do it. Well, the thing is, though, I'm doing it more with Ghost of Tsushima right now because one of the early outfits that you get is the Traveler's Garb, which I love, especially when I'm just running around doing side quests, because as you upgrade it, while you're running around, you have a wider range that opens up on the Fog of War on your map, so that you find things a lot quicker and with a wider range. And I've been using that a lot. And then when I get into a fight or a big fight, if I remember to, I'll switch to the armor that actually gives me defense boosts. Because, I kind of need it. I die a lot in that game. All right. Well, on that note, I think we'll call it for this week. So I want to hear from you guys, all of our wonderful, happy listeners. What do you guys prefer when it comes to customization, whether it's physical, whether it's cosmetic, whether it's stats? Let us know. And if you want to give us any type of feedback or just chat about whatever, you can start by sending us a message on our email address. That's xpbillionaires@gmail.com. Or you can hit us up on our social media. You can find me on Twitter at BillionairesXP, or you can check out my Gunpla Instagram at Rafe Thagrim. Sky, where can everyone find you?
I'm at SkyKnightXP on Twitter and SkyKnight.xp on Instagram.
That's right. Get all the Suikoden and Suikoden themed news for the next couple of weeks at the very least. And Mel, where can everyone find you?
I'm at Feminist Gamer on Instagram or Feminist Gamer 3 on Twitter. I run a D&D game on Twitch every Wednesday as well called Darkness and Dragons, and I write for the Geek Girl Authority, so you can check any of that out.
All right, will do. All right, and don't forget to check out all of our written work, which includes quickfire reviews, written features, and if you just need to know where to find us again, you can do that on our website, xpbillionaires.ca. And if you're feeling generous, please feel free to send us a donation to our coffee page. That's coffee.com/xpbillionaires. Feel free to just check it out, see what we're about. And if you don't want to donate, that's fine. We would just love for you to spread the word of our group. All right, so that's going to be it for us this week. And just remember, once your party is truly yours, it's so much easier to keep gaming. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.